5 biggest tsunamis caught on camera. Tsunami is one of the natural phenomena causing terrible damage to people and property, dubbed the fury of the ocean and the punishment of Mother Nature because they sweep away all that stands in the way of movement. Do you know which tsunamis have the most severe impact? Let's explore the 5 scariest tsunamis recorded by the camera together with our channel. 1. Japan Tsunami 2011. The world cannot forget the terrible double disaster that occurred at more than 14 o'clock on March 11, 2011 in Japan. At 2:46 p.m. local time, a 9.1 magnitude Honshu earthquake struck off the northeastern island of Honshu, causing a tsunami up to 40 meters high to hit the mainland, destroying everything in its path. According to official statistics, 15,899 people were killed with 2,572 people missing or presumed dead. Over 6,000 people were injured. Many towns were wiped off the map. At the Fukushima nuclear power plant located near the coast, the tsunami completely hit the nuclear fuel rod cooling system, causing a serious disaster, exposing the surrounding residential areas to radiation. The sudden rupture of the Pacific plate shifted the waters above and created a series of destructive tsunamis. Waves tens of meters high have engulfed the coast and many areas of Sendai City, including the airport and surrounding suburbs. In addition to Sendai, the most affected residential areas by the tsunami include Kamaishi, Miyako, Ishinomaki, Kesenuma, Shiogama Kitabaraki, and Hitachinaka. When the water receded back into the sea, they brought large amounts of debris as well as thousands of victims of the Great Flood. Large swathes of land were submerged under seawater and disappeared from the map. Reactors at 3 nuclear power plants near the quake's epicenter were automatically shut down by sensors. This situation has cut off the main power of the plants and the cooling system. Due to concerns about the risk of radiation contamination, Japanese authorities established a 30-kilometer no-fly zone around Fukushima Daiichi and evacuated all residents within the area. At the end of March 2011, seawater near the Daiichi facility was found to be contaminated with high levels of radioactive iodine-131. Many rescue workers and about 100,000 members of Japan's self-defense forces were quickly mobilized to deal with the crisis. The Japanese government also asked US troops stationed in the East Asian country to assist. Many countries including Australia, China, India, New Zealand and South Korea have sent rescue teams. Dozens of other countries and major international aid organizations have pledged material and financial support to Tokyo. 2. Super Tsunami 524 meters in 1958. In July 1958, a magnitude 8.3 earthquake in the Fairweather Fault shook the southern coast of Alaska. The disaster led to a massive landslide in Lituya Bay, triggering a tsunami that swept through the narrow waters and killed 5 people. The giant wave flattened trees on the slopes surrounding the bay with a maximum height of 524 meters above sea level, higher than the Empire State Building in New York, which is 443 meters. This is called the run-up height, the height reached by the wave after making landfall. The researchers estimate that with the tsunami reaching this height, the initial landslide could have dumped about 30 million cubic meters of rock into Lituya Bay. The violent landslide provided the force to create a record-breaking wave, but the shape of the bay is the real reason the waves are so high. Lituya is a long and narrow coastal cove with steep slopes created by an ancient glacier. The bay is about 14.5 kilometers long, with the widest point being 3.2 kilometers. This area has a maximum depth of 220 meters and is connected to the Gulf of Alaska by a gap of 300 meters wide. The landslide that caused the tsunami in 1958 occurred in Gilbert Cove at the far end, farthest from the sea. During a typical landslide tsunami, the waves will radiate out in a fan pattern, but the narrow shape and steep slope of Lituya Bay, plus the starting position, caused the full force of the waves to be concentrated in one direction. Since there was nowhere else to go, the water was pushed up the surrounding high mountain slopes. That's why the 1958 tsunami reached such a high run-up height. This type of extremely powerful wave is called a mega tsunami. Tsunami caused by landslides are much rarer than tectonic tsunamis caused by seafloor faulting as tectonic plates move, such as the 2011 tsunami in Japan, scientists say accounting for more than 90% of the total tsunami. This is not the first tsunami that caused landslides in Lituya Bay. Geologists have found traces of smaller tsunamis in 1853, 1854 and 1936, but evidence of them was washed away by the super tsunami. 3. Indonesia Tsunami 2018. Indonesia is one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world due to its geographical location on the Pacific Ring of Fire where tectonic plates collide. The city of Palu, located on the island of Sulawesi, Indonesia, was severely damaged by a 7.5 magnitude earthquake and tsunami on September 28, 2018. According to the Indonesian Red Cross, the disaster had left 4,300 people dead and missing, while nearly 60,000 people were still living in temporary shelters. Many schools have not yet been able to reopen. Most of the dead were in Palu, the capital of Central Sulawesi province on the island of Sulawesi, one of Indonesia's 5 main islands. Satellite data shows that more than 3,000 houses had been destroyed in the city. The earthquake and tsunami came as the city was celebrating its 40th anniversary, with hundreds of people gathering on the beach for the festival. Huge waves swept away many people during that festival. The narrow terrain of Palu Bay made the tsunami taller and stronger when it hit the shore, scientists said. Satellite and media images showed destroyed homes and shops, collapsed bridges, and a mosque flooded by the tsunami. Some areas of the city were completely wiped out. Since the coastline of the bay curves to the east, the destruction is more extensive. All streets, residential areas, and coastal roads are gone. The concrete coastal promenade and parkland were also wiped out and are now flooded. Palu lies on the Palu-Koro Fault, which runs along the edge of the bay in a north-south direction. Geologists estimate segments of this fault at Palu are the site of the highest tectonic shifts in Indonesia, about 4 centimeters per year, making the area more prone to earthquakes. One cause of death and damage is soil liquefaction. This phenomenon occurs when the soil and mud slurred under the action of vibrations become liquid, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS. In Baburo, near Palu, about 1,700 houses were swallowed up as the soil turned to liquid mud. Satellite images of the village of Petobo, south of Palu Airport, show a large residential area that appears to have been wiped out. 4. Papua New Guinea Tsunami 1998. On July 17, 1998, a tsunami up to 9 meters high claimed more than 2,100 lives in Papua New Guinea. Just before the wave hit, the microphone happened to record a low-frequency hum that the human ear could not hear, lasting 45 seconds. That's when a giant mass of sediment of more than 1 cubic kilometer slid to the seabed 3,500 kilometers off the coast of Papua New Guinea, said Dr. Sinolakis and colleagues at Oregon State University, USA. Immediately after the incident, scientists noticed unusual signs in the tsunami in Papua New Guinea. Before it arrived, a magnitude 7 tremor was recorded. Earthquakes of the same magnitude still frequently occur in this region, averaging once every 1 to 2 years, but only 1998 was accompanied by a large wave. That led to the assumption that the earthquake shook the earth masses, loosening them and sliding down, causing the tsunami. Seafloor surveys also found recently collapsed sedimentary rock formations which run about 1.6 kilometers long on a 25-degree slope. Another difference in the Papua New Guinea tremor is that it produces a low-frequency gurgling sound that lasts about 45 seconds. Regular earthquakes produce a similar sound but lasting only about 7 seconds at most. Based on the data, the team concluded that this rumbling was caused by the site of the landslide, which occurred 30 minutes after the earthquake. The theory that underwater landslides can give rise to tsunamis dates back more than a century. In recent decades, the scientific community has turned its attention to offshore earthquakes, which are the cause of most cataclysms. But after the disaster in Papua New Guinea, they realized people had underestimated the danger of landslides. The next goal for the researchers is to determine the frequency and predict the intensity of possible landslides to minimize their damage to humans. 5. Indian Ocean Tsunami 2004. The massive earthquake that caused a huge tsunami across the Indian Ocean on December 26, 2004 became the most devastating natural disaster of the century. At 7:58 a.m. local time on December 26, 2004, a magnitude 9.1 earthquake occurred off the coast of Indonesia, the northernmost tip of Sumatra. It caused a huge tsunami across the Indian Ocean, killing more than 230,000 people across 14 countries. 30 minutes after the tremor, a wave up to 30 meters high hit the coast of Sumatra and the Nicobar Islands. Hours later, it reached the Maldives, Mauritius, and the east coast of Africa. Indonesia is the most affected place because it is located near the epicenter of the earthquake. Water overflows inland for kilometers. An estimated 167,000 people were killed, more than 500,000 people were left homeless, and 800 kilometers of coastline were destroyed across the island nation. Thousands of foreigners were also caught up in the disaster, many of them scuba diving, swimming, or on the beach when the waves hit. 14 other countries located in the storm's passing area were also severely affected. Thailand topped the number of deaths with 54,000 people, followed by Sweden, Germany, and other countries. Popular tourist beaches were quickly turned into makeshift hospitals. The tsunami caused an estimated $10 billion in damage. To date, this tsunami is one of the most damaging natural disasters in modern world history. The international media and Asian people called it the Asian tsunami. It can be said that the tsunami has had a very serious impact on life. They swept away all obstacles in the process of moving, leading to incalculable damage to people and property. That is the information about the 5 scariest tsunamis recorded by the camera. If you know more about other tsunamis, please share them with everyone in the comment section of this video. And goodbye for now, and see you in the next videos of our channel.